made, like a famous actress, Angelina Jolie, to do a double mastectomy without actually having breast cancer. So join me in welcoming Laura Grant, Senior Director of Global Engineering Talent at Cisco Systems, and a pre-Viver and a mom. Let's welcome Laura.
I was asked to join you because I'm a pre-Viver. I made the decision to define my destiny by having a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy and hysterectomy. We heard this morning that so many of you in this room have important stories to tell, and we share our stories to help others along the journey. Today, I'd like to share with you the impact that volunteers and supporters have had in my life. This morning, we've all become supporters. 800 volunteers supporting 15,000 people, all gathering to make a difference. My story begins, as many cancer stories did decades ago, tragically. The good news is that it ends happily, as many cancer stories do today, due to the dedication of physicians, scientists, ACS, and those who raise money, like the walking at the breast cancer walk. What date is it in October?
October 26th.
26th. We're going to raise a lot of money. It'll make a difference. Over the next hour and a half, I'll share the 4 chapters of my cancer story with you. Just kidding. Less than 10 minutes. I'll share my journey. Through denial, acceptance, and finally gratitude. Perhaps some of you have similar chapters to your story. Chapter 1, loss. I lost my grandmother to breast cancer when I was 5 years old. Over the next several years, 2 of her daughters, my aunts, were also diagnosed with breast cancer and lost their lives all too quickly. I was 12 years old when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. Just 6 months after giving birth to my little brother, Charlie. So I grew up helping to raise my brother and admiring my mom for her courage as she fought breast cancer that metastasized to her bones. She fought her battle with grace and humor. I was 21 when my mom died. At her funeral, her oncologist suggested I get a baseline mammogram. So I did, and it was abnormal. I was petrified. Not only had I lost my mom, my grandma, 2 of my aunts to breast cancer, but I had developed a paralyzing fear of blood and needles. To this day, I'm so phobic that I can't watch shows like Dr. Oz. I can't even watch reruns of Scrubs. Got an issue. I have a very, very vivid memory of my dad, one of my first supporters, holding my hand, reassuring me that everything would be all right, as I was wheeled into surgery just a month after my mom's death. That's how they did breast biopsies in 1983, under the knife and under general anesthesia. We were overjoyed that the lump was benign, and I could continue my junior year in college. The next chapter of my journey is appropriately named Denial. It might seem obvious that when a potentially life-saving blood test was created, I'd take the test. The test, which has recently received a lot of great publicity thanks to Angelina Jolie, predicts up to an 85% chance of developing aggressive ovarian and breast cancer if positive. Despite my family history and the urging of doctors, I chose to gamble with my health. I chose not to have the test. Because did I mention, I'm afraid of needles. I cringe at the thought of even having my blood drawn, let alone the recommended procedure if I tested positive for the BRCA gene. prophylactic bilateral mastectomy, and hysterectomy. Out of fear, I didn't want to know if I had the gene. Despite several more biopsies, each followed by the all too long period waiting for those test results, I chose to focus on the 15% chance that I wouldn't develop cancer. I was invincible. Then something changed. My dear friend, Meredith Mason, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had lost her mom and sister in the same year to breast cancer. She pleaded with me to take the BRCA test. I tested positive for the BRCA gene in 2006. Yet for years, I took no action. Sometimes it's just easier to live in denial. As my friend Meredith was succumbing to breast cancer at the age of 39, I asked what I could do to comfort her. She had 2 young daughters, Katie and Emily, that she wouldn't see graduate from elementary school. She said she'd feel better if I'd stop being so foolish. She actually said if he'd stop being such a dumbass. She said I had the chance to change my destiny, to take my health in my own hands. She told me she understood that I was afraid of all things medical, but that I needed to just get a grip, get over myself, and think about my little boys, because they would need me as they grew up. I scheduled the surgery. We all have the opportunity to be someone's Meredith, to help change the course of their lives. The 3rd chapter of my story is about acceptance. I found that the key to getting through life's challenges is the support of family and friends. Sometimes they're friends you haven't even met yet, like the 15,000 people that will be walking in October. So whether you're here today as a survivor or a supporter, you know the power of friendship. We all need people in our lives who we can share the good times with and the challenging times. We need people who will share our dreams, help us conquer our fears, make us laugh, and provide us a space in which we can be vulnerable. Several of my friends are with me today, this time not to help me through another surgery, but to smile and nod while I stand up here in front of 800 people I don't yet know to talk about my boobs. Of course, my husband Mark and my kids Ryan and Colin were also a great support to me. Shortly after my reconstructive surgery, I was resting when Colin, 8, crawled in bed next to me. And he said, "Mom, I know that under other circumstances, this would be an inappropriate question, but can I see your boobs?" I thought his curiosity was natural, so I said sure, although I had yet mustered the courage to look at myself. I can't stand that stuff. My husband had taken great care to shield me from even having to look in a mirror. As Colin looked at my chest, he said, "Mom, you should really look at yourself, because you look beautiful." Thank you, And then he added, "And did you know you don't have any nipples?" He then bounded down the stairs, and I heard him call out, "Hey, Dad, I just got Mom to look at her boobs. She's going to be just fine." And he was right. That was a turning point. If my 8-year-old thought I was beautiful, I should too. I shared this story with my cousin Julie, who also had a bilateral mastectomy. And shortly afterwards, one of my most memorable get-well gifts arrived in the mail. That's right, ladies. Press-on nipples. Size ginormous. They were labeled traffic stoppers. And you know, who knew we could get such great gifts on the internet? fun. I'd slip in those traffic stoppers under my t-shirt and greet them with a, "Hey, I'm feeling good. So happy about my reconstructive surgery." And you know they were thinking, "Mom, your corporate career is finished. You can look an eye out with those things." I knew I had truly achieved acceptance when my sense of humor returned. The final chapter in my journey is really all about gratitude. I now know that I'm a very blessed person. The surgeons discovered atypical hyperplasia, precancerous tissue, in both breasts. I clearly made the right decision. And I can't help but think, had Meredith and my mom been armed with the resources that are available today, might they have acted sooner and be here to share their story with you this morning? So I'd like to just take another moment to be your Meredith. I'm looking at each of you, understanding that there are a million reasons for you or your family to put off a potentially life-saving test. But I can tell you there are more important reasons to just do it. Like being here for your family, your close friends. So, if you haven't had your annual mammogram, bust a move, put a squeeze on, schedule an appointment on Monday. Gentlemen, you need to take care of yourselves too. If you haven't had a PSA test because you're afraid of what your doctor might find, do it anyway. Guys, if you can't remember the last time you heard that all too familiar snap of a latex glove, renew that intimate relationship with your physician soon. And if you're over 50 and have yet to have a colonoscopy, get your butt out of that seat and have it looked into. Spread the word. Help increase awareness. The landscape has changed dramatically in the 30 years since I lost my mom. All of this amazing progress is due to the research dollars that are raised at events, such as the Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk in October. Think of the progress we can make in the next 30 years. We're grateful that you're here, sharing your stories, your talent, and your time. That is why we're here. And as mentioned earlier, over 200,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in the U.S. alone this year. Today, we're 800 strong, supporting 15,000 to raise a target of $1.3 million to help create a cancer-free world for everyone. The ripple effect is infinite. Thank you, and thank you for being here.
Laura, you didn't hear me. I said one more profile, please. There you go. That's why we're here.
I left the traffic stoppers at home.
She left her traffic stoppers at home. That's why we are here, though. I mean, her story, amazing. We're going to move along.